can't have your whole brand be, I'm always struggling or I'm always feeling shit and I'm so depressed and traumatized all the time, because you build an audience around that. And then once you break up from your audience, that audience is now going to view you as out of touch. Yo.
Must look decent. Hello.
Yo, welcome back
to
the podcast Evolve with me, Lewis, and Sam. Let me do the intro, man. That's it. You know what? We're going to let it run. How you doing, Sam?
I'm doing good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good.
Life is okay. Life has been good.
Tell me about your week.
Interview central lately. My week has been pretty interesting. A lot of how do I put this? I'll definitely touch on it a bit more when we talk about CVs and stuff. I've also got to record redundancy tales afterwards, where I'm going to talk more about how to make my CV, how I've made my CV better and the help I've got around it. But long story short, I'm being headhunted for jobs that I was rejected by the computer for. So I've sent an application through. The computer's gone, like you could tell it's the same type of response every time. Like it's unsuccessful. This week, I've literally had HR teams from multiple companies that I have already applied to come and be like, hey, we think you'd be perfect for this role and all that. I'm just like...
You already rejected me.
Exactly. I've already felt depressed. So it's been really interesting. I do feel special. I do feel wanted, and it's got me feeling a lot more positive. Yeah. I've got hair in my mouth. Yeah. But yeah, that's been one of the main things. You know what? We'll talk about the rest of the week. Today we're talking about social media.
Yes.
Life.
We're going to touch on social media. This is one of the topics.
Let's jump right into it, because that's what people want.
Yeah, fuck it. All right. Yeah, because this is something which we wrote down a while ago. And I thought, you know what? Now's a good time. So off the bat, Sam, social media, what are your thoughts? Mm-hmm. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it ruining everyone's lives? What do you think?
Oh, okay. So 100% it's caused... You know how people say, oh, if it's used in the right way, it's good. I'm in a position where I feel like we've now got to a point where it's causing more harm than good. Like at first, or maybe not. Maybe now we're at the halfway point. Let's put it that way. Because at first, collecting my thoughts. At first, I think people were just saying nonsense on social media. Everyone had like some kind of conscience. Everyone was transferring over. And when I say back then, I mean like when we were probably using it a bit more. So like 2010, 2012, wherever it's like those, the early, 2010s to 2020 type years, where it was our generation that was signing up for Facebook. We were using MSN. We were using, was it called MSN back then, or was it Hotmail? It was MSN, the chat. So back then we were using all that stuff. We were bloody doing Club Penguin, Habbo Hotel, you name it, we were using it. And it was very like, that was like the birth of, Bebo, all these bloody, MySpace, all these platforms, they were like the birth of it. And it was very much around people using it as a way to announce who they are, what their characteristics are, what their traits. And I think it was a lot more transparent and it was a lot more honest, because no one knew that their inner thoughts were stupid. No one knew that other people would look at them and be like, what is actually wrong with you? Like, he's still listens to My Chemical Romance. Why do you, like, no one, people were very overtly themselves because they had no reason to see anything wrong with who they were, because their friends they had liked them for who they were. Their family liked them for who they were. People within their small social circles that they can go next door to, or they can ride a bike and leave outside of someone's house. The kids in their streets appreciated them for who they were. We've now started going more into a phase where our personal lives, everything we do is part of like a global ecosystem, not just your small town, not just a small set of followers you have in your MySpace. And I think what's happened is people are now tailoring themselves, because more people are coming back and be like, you're a weirdo, because from their perspective, you don't fit in. So now it's almost like we've merged some kind of social judgment or social criteria of who you should be. And now social media is now, people are now presenting themselves on social media in a way where they want to be liked rather than who they would have been. And why I was struggling to like to basically have a standpoint as to whether it's now bad or not. It's because I think it's now hard to tell if someone is who they are because of where they come from and everything, or if they are pretending to be who they are because they think that's what society wants. I think social media has played a heavy part in tailoring people into considering what society wants them to be a lot more in their actions. And it's hard to say because I don't think we as individuals are even aware of it as much as maybe we should be. I think we've naturally tailored ourselves into character traits, and we'll embrace that. We'll say that's who I am, but we will never know because we now wouldn't know a world without social media. We now wouldn't know a world where that didn't exist, where that person could really say that in another universe, I am still who I am. I think we've just been thrown in front of everyone else, and we've had to tailor ourselves to fit in front of a lot more people than traditionally we would have been. And because of that, I think it's a bit of it's a problem because now everyone's just becoming the same type of person. We've all reached the points where we pretty much have the same thoughts as each other without even knowing it. Like someone will do a post like, oh, I remember when I did this, like this time last year, and about 2 million of people will be like, oh my God, yeah, I do that too. Whereas at first you kind of just felt unique to yourself. I don't think that really exists anymore. We're all just becoming carbon copies. Even the hipsters, someone did like a research into hipsters. I'm going full steam here, but like I just want to wrap up on this point. Someone did a research into hipsters, and I'll try and find it and send a link to you. And it's just essentially looking into like the whole idea of being hipsters is about being unique, being yourself. And it's almost like a character trait. And you think that would come back to the world of social media, right? So they got a picture of a hipster. They put it on the research page as part of the title because someone did like it was actually, I think it was a quantitative research, which is weird. But anyway, looked into it. They put a picture of a hipster on there. And this guy basically messaged in to be like, you have no right to be using my picture, blah, blah. That's unique to me. You've made some stupid claims about all hipsters being the same. And you've used my picture. We're all unique. You have no right, blah, blah. And then the authors and everyone came back and said, that's actually not your picture. We got someone else's completely different picture. And then the worst part is the guy, his family and everyone thought it was him because he thought he was unique to that character. But in the world we live in, the world of the internet where we kind of steal bits of characters from everyone, that's a completely different person, but he was convinced that was him. And I would say that's like almost like a symptom of the fact that we share an identity now. It's that we don't even know who we are. But yeah, that's basically it. That's my unique thing. If even the people that think they're unique aren't. And I think that's an effect of social media. Anyway, I'll stop talking now.
Yeah, no, I hear you. No, thank you for going into detail. This podcast, you're gonna have to, so it's fine. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. My standpoint is that I think initially social media was a great idea because, like, you could, look up someone who you used to be mates with like 5 years ago and like reconnect. Like that's what it was like. Oh wow, like this thing's amazing.
Yeah.
My initial thinking now is that it literally fosters comparison way too much. And also there's so much brain rot on there that keeps you locked in conjunction with that. If you're on a particular feed and your feed is very much tailored to you and what you engage with, even if you don't follow people, I think it can be very dangerous to fall into like, it's basic. Most shit is literally soft porn or it's racist.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty much
race
everything on that.
Or soft porn.
And I think if you're like, following whoever who's basically doing like NSFW content, both men and women, right? It literally is just like, it's just like fake dopamine sort of stuff, right? And it literally has like the same impact as like a porn addiction. So I would say if you're using social media, what I've done in the past is just, I very much tailor my social media. Like if there's people I follow and I'm like, they're just posting absolute nonsense, I unfollow or I mute them. I don't follow any, influencer like NSFW like people who are just literally just like showing flesh for follows, and like I unfollowed all that stuff. I unfollowed a lot of garbage because I noticed I was just like scrolling and just like and all of a sudden you're spending 4 hours a day, and then I'll also be complaining like, why haven't I started my business yet? And it's like, look at your phone time, like look at your actual screen time and what you're doing.
100%.
So I'm very I'd like to say that I'm not being like, oh, I'm such a self-aware guru, but I'd say I'm more aware than most. So I think for personal use, if you're self-aware, it can be useful in ways. Like I use it to catch up on like news, a lot of business news and things like that as well. So that for me is kind of like what my use is for. Don't get me wrong, I do get into like scrolling like random nonsense and downtime, but it's fine. But again, I'm not like locked in for 3 hours, which I think a lot of people are. The flip side of social media is that it has become, I'm going to go into the business side of things now. I think it's very, very good for business. I think it's probably the best thing that you can. Reason being, it's very easy for you to become well-known or build an audience way quicker than it has before social media was a thing. For example, our very podcast would not be possible without social media. YouTube counts as social media, right? And if you want to, like, you have now people who are independent and building their own like clothing brands or whatever through the use of social media. So from a way to make money and building a personal brand, which now encompasses social media, just because if you literally don't have an internet presence, you basically don't exist. It's become very easy to market yourself to other people a lot easier. That with social media. That being said, that's now very saturated. So from my standpoint of social media is that it's bad for personal use, I would say, on the personal individual. But I think from a business perspective, if you want to market to someone, then I think it's good. Because, for example, I now own more clothes from independents, more so, and like random companies than like your standard like retail shops and things like that. So from that perspective, I think for business use and competition-wise, it's very good from that angle.
Okay. I'd say social media, I think it's reached a point where it's almost like after a certain number of following, your ability to influence others becomes less effective. So you're still able to influence huge numbers, but not at the proportions you're able to. And there's actually a new growth, a new phase. And there's a really cool company that we know the founder of it, Joe and Ollie. They founded Unitasker. Right? Yeah. And Unitasker has created another brand called Shout. Now, what Shout does is it takes advantage of micro influencers, which are basically people like me and you, right? If you have like around 1,000 followers, at most 2,000, or if you have like upper hundreds of followers, those people have more peers and families as followers, people that are actually close to them and are aware of their character. And because of that, when they promote content, it has a higher conversion rate. Or it has a higher conversion rate compared to like your big celebs that have 1 million people. If that big celeb like Kim Kardashian or someone posted a handbag, maybe they'll get 1,000 sales, maybe they'll get 10,000 sales, I don't know. But in proportion to the fact that she's got 2 million or whatever it is followers, that's quite small. Whereas if a micro influencer promoted it, they'll probably get 200, 300 sales. But in the proportion to you having 100 followers, or 1,000 followers, sorry.
Yeah, the conversion rate is a lot.
That's huge. Exactly. So now there's like a huge craze of businesses trying to use micro influencers. And it's almost like for the same amount of money I'd give to Kim Kardashian, if I gave Kim Kardashian, or like if I get X celebrity who's got 10,000 followers, right? And instead of giving them that money, I went and gave it to 10 micro influencers who've all got 1,000 followers, I'm going to get more sales than I would if I gave it to that one individual, because it's almost like I've got multiple chances of huge click-through rates. So that's a huge growth, and that's weaponizing people's social media accounts. The downside of that is, like you were saying, it gets to a point where it gets saturated. There's a point where it loses, the peer influence loses its authenticity, and that's where it feels saturated. So there's a point where we all trust the celebrities, because why would they lie to us, right? Their whole survival depends on us trusting them, so they wouldn't betray that trust for money. They would never do that. And then we found out that they do. They would happily throw us under the bus for crypto coins. They do not care, right? We found out that for the right amount of money, anyone will throw their brand away. And we now kind of look at these bigger celebrities who, after about 20 ads, we're just like, okay, you just all you're doing is basically shilling stuff to us. Like I don't think you even wear that shoe, do you? See what I mean? Whereas a small micro influencer probably does. However, if me and you had 1,000 followers and all we did was every day posting stuff that we bought, always doing try-ons, always doing shopping hauls, we would lose our authenticity because it becomes clear that we don't even care about it. We care more about getting money. So eventually everyone's social media becomes saturated and less trustworthy. The only, and this is, I know we're delving massively into business. The only brands or influencers that I've seen able to maintain a high click-through rate are the ones that do a better job of trying to maintain that authenticity. So Marcus Brownlee, the tech guy.
Oh yeah.
He does That's his name. It's Marcus.
That is his name.
Yeah.
That is his name. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. So he has pretty decent click-throughs. Reason being is he's authentic. He does not mind throwing a business under the brand. Fisker, the car brand that he reviewed and now they've gone bankrupt. Has he gone back and said sorry? He's gonna go, no, you were crap before you came here, and I still think you're crap. Like, he will give an honest review, and through that branding, he's managed a higher click-through rate. He is still 2 brands that will flop off the back of his recommendation away from people not trusting him. It's consistent. As soon as you mess up that trust, it's gone. So if you're getting into social media for business, I think you need to be heavily aware of like the risks and what you invest in. And I think you need to be clear and true to your character. The only way you can maintain that business is being honest. But it gets to a point where you want your business to make more money and you'll get more greedy. And I think the ones that get greedy are the ones that they'll make a lot of money in a short amount of time, but you will flop soon after. And when you flop hard and there's no recovery from that. You have to go back and, I don't know, get another job, become a teacher or something.
Yeah. It's interesting that you mentioned Marcus Brownlee because you reminded me of, have you had a Keith Lee on TikTok?
You see the food guy?
He's the food guy. He used to be like an MMA fighter. Didn't know that.
MMA. I heard about it.
But it's very interesting because like if you ask him to do a review, if it's shit, he will say it's shit. And Marcus Brownlee is the exact same. Like, because I saw his review of like Dyson headphones and like, you know, monitors and things like that. And I will actually I will take heed of what you're saying because if it's shit, he will say it's shit. And it's like, well, what are you going to do? You send me it for free. So, you know what I mean? And even though you're getting pressing in the day, like, you know, might send some people bankrupt. But at the same time, if you get a really good review,
Dyson knew it was crap. Let's be honest. Even Dyson knew it was crap.
So like, if you get a good review, it's like, you know, it's great. But what is quite interesting with things like that is like, you know, when people who work at a company will like, you know, the company will come up with like a marketing campaign, and then it's like they will then like repost it and be like, oh my God, this is amazing. But you don't believe it because they're an employee and they've drank the corporate Kool-Aid. Yeah. Whereas like Marcus Brownlee doesn't become an employee, right? He's not like an evangelist for that person. So, and Keith Lee's the exact same. And you've seen it flip on its head where like, you know, the restaurant now will be dying and like he'll do a review and then there's like queues outside the door the next day and they're like, I can now afford to like keep the restaurant and shit like that. So it's the same thing. And another thing with social media as well is that now you're doing that thing where like Chicken Shop is like an example of where like authenticity has now become really, really valued, right? Because, you know, everyone on social media is now fake. But now we're now kind of entering, and you're probably going to say this already, it's like now everyone's trying to be authentic. And it's like, who could be like the most authentic? And now what people don't want to fall into the trap to is kind of like self-deprecating themselves as being their brand, because there's going to be a point where you want to break out from that reach, and like now you're just known for speaking about your trauma and shit all the time, which is what you don't want. And it's at that there's that certain risk where you need to keep that balance of like, yes, I'm not like, you know, God or whatever, but at the same time you can't have your whole brand be, oh yeah, you know, I'm always struggling or I'm always feeling shit and I'm so depressed and traumatized all the time, because you build an audience around that, and then once you break up from your audience, that audience is now going to view you as out of touch. So there's a balance there that you need to kind of sort of have.
It's almost like, you know, when they do the apology videos, when you upset your audience, you do an apology videos, and I always feel a type of way about apology videos, because I genuinely think sitting there, hey, I messed up, I'm sorry, this is what I'm going to do better, it's good enough. You don't need to do, I genuinely don't believe in the whole 20-minute speech about everything you've done wrong now. And like, you need to apologize when they do the apology videos, like the corrective activities sometimes is way cringy and sometimes seems way faker than the actual mess you've just made. And sometimes sometimes people just want to see you suffer. And when you overdo it, the ones that want to see you suffer will get what they want, but they realize that, oh no, now I just want more suffering from you. Now I want to punish you more. So then it's like they'll double down on it. And as soon as you give in to that, the other aspect about it is we all know that people grow, right? But we also are very aware that everyone lives vicariously through each other. And the more pronounced you are, the more your brand is about not just authenticity, but trying to show people like, hey, I'm just like you. I go through the same things as you. Your early adopter members, a certain cohort of them, really do believe that you are just like them. They do believe that you're on the same shoes as them. So when you break that mold and you do something that really upsets them, it hurts them just as much as someone close to them hurt them. And there's a name for it. Listen, I need to remember the name for it. But there is a name for like people that develop like almost like relationships with their
it's
like,
called so it's very interesting. It's very interesting to say that because I did my dissertation on this. It's called parasocial relationships.
I think you told me about it actually.
Yeah, because
I think you or Sarah told me about it.
Yeah, because I basically did this of basically how Xbox will use influencers to like build trust with their gamers. Yeah. And so basically they would send like products to YouTubers who like use these headphones and stuff like that. They didn't necessarily call it out, but because they use it, you'll be like, oh, those are good headphones because this YouTuber who I watch all the time has them. And so they must be good.
Exactly.
So, and then it's basically like a one-way relationship where basically they, like, you know, we don't know which viewer exists, but they trust us and stuff like that. and it feels like a close relationship.
It's because
it's interesting.
You're building a relationship. You're triggering. We're humans that we've adapted. Our conscious has adapted to embrace social media. And where if you're conscious about what's happening, you can logically say that, okay, he's just a salesman. He's pushing stuff to me. Our reptilian brain and like the baby parts of us still develop very close emotions to the celebrities we like. We still like our heart rate will increase like we've just seen a long lost family member if we saw the massive celebrity walking down the road. Like if I'm walking down and I saw KSI, I bet I'm tripping over something. Like as much as old as I am, I bet you I'm stacking over something just off the shock of seeing him within my range, right? And it's almost like that. It's we've not evolved biologically past that point. It's almost like we mentally have to keep ourselves in check. Like, don't do it. It's not worth it. So when you're in a negative mood or when you're in a bad day, and if you have 1 million followers, 10% of them are likely to be having a bad day consistently at some point. There's always going to be a good chunk of your audience that aren't in a good mood with you or aren't in a good mood in general. And if you do something bad, not to say that's not your fault for doing something bad because they're having a bad day, but if you do not something bad, the sensitive part of your audience are enough of a catalyst to kick off a mess that would then hurt the rest of your brand because they then provide validation to anyone who was feeling a bit on edge or like on the fence about your behavior. They now have the social validation to go, okay, yeah, you are a bit of an idiot, you are a bit of a weasel, I don't like your content anymore. As that number grows, then the other people who are kind of still on the fence, it's almost like how do I put it? It's almost like a wave, like a Mexican wave of haters. And it's like as more people hate you, more people see that hate as validation. You still have a core set of audience who are the fringe people. We're unique thinkers. We have nuanced mindsets. And, you know, we see past that. We see you as a good person. They will be your ride or dies. But they'll get to a point where the ride or dies will not be enough to out compete the haters. And your business model of being a social media influencer stops being sustainable. As soon as you have enough noise about you, brands will step away. Like the whole cancel culture idea is basically people don't like you, people voice their points of views, your revenue streams die off because your revenue streams are based on people liking you and believing you because that's why the brands want to work with you. The brands step away from you, you stop making money. I think that is one of the drivers for why people get so desperate and want to do the long apologies and show how apologetic they are. But in doing that, you're not doing it because you're sorry. You're doing it because you want to maintain your revenue streams and you're doing it because you want to like convince people to like you again. I think going full circle, when you're trying to recover from something bad, just a simple apology and just doing an action that shows how sorry you are, whether it's donating to that charity, whether it's committing for like, okay, for God knows, for the next 2 years, 10% of all our revenue is going to this charity to say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like, worst thing.
It's the caveats.
It depends, because sometimes you can't recover.
Just a caveat.
Sometimes it's not coming back.
Just a caveat. Yeah. If it's like apology, if it's like, oh yeah, some dumb shit like you said, but if it's like, you know, a crime, you know, the young Phillies, and shit like that, right?
Oh yeah, I heard about that recently.
Yeah.
Okay,
So like
peak.
the extreme cases, like you should get hate.
Oh yeah, with those ones,
just to save our skin.
With those situations, just turn it off. Just go to bed.
Go to prison.
Apologize like you should. Take your punishment like you should.
Yeah.
Leave the world alone for a little bit. Yeah. That's weirdly the advice of them. I think it's also wise to also spin it around, because we are people that, like we did the Deadpool Ryan Reynolds episode, right? It's like a celebrity. We talked about the fact that he's idolized. We talked about the fact that his brand is sensitive to people's opinions. As individuals that look onto these celebrities, that look onto these people for advice, that look at social media and think, he's making money, he does well, it's never as shiny as you think it is. There's always a wizard sat in his boxes behind the curtains, pressing buttons. There's never great. There's not been a single like tech company that I've gone to and the systems has worked as magically as I thought it worked before I got there.
Yeah.
There's not been a single influencer that I have sat down with and their life is perfect and they don't have any issues. They don't have bad days. They don't have sad days. There's not been a single influencer. There's not been a single millionaire I've spoken to who is constantly sat there going, my life is amazing. And I'm not doing the whole social media trend of being like, rich people are sad too and rich people have problems too. Generally, they have the same level of stresses about stuff as you do. The only difference is there's the situation that they go through it in.
Yeah, like problems, right?
They still have a house. Yeah. They have rich people problems, yeah. But they still get sad about getting cheated on. They still get sad about breakups. They still get sad about their mate not paying. Some of them still get sad about their mates not paying them a fiver when they've got 10 million in their bank account. It's just the principle of things that upset you still upset the same person. And we seem to forget that. We seem to idolize people to such a standard because we hope to become like them. So when they fail that standard, it's almost like, well, I wouldn't do that, and you're meant to be better than me. So why the hell have you done that? Really, like, it's just another person messing up. It gets to a point where you kind of just need to look at it and go, bit of a dick. Does it change what I like about them? Probably not. Okay, leave it alone then.
What do you think about, because this has been on my mind recently, because I don't know about you, but every celebrity and influencer at the moment is coming out as a nonce or some form of assaulter.
Okay,
and the thing that I think about is just like, take Foot Asylum, for example. We're Young Philly now, and like the things that I know, like Channel 4, and you know, a lot of brands now, a lot of business now are like relying on influencers. But now, a lot of influencers, which is like basically another form of celebrity endorsement now, have kind of tried to go that method of, oh yeah, we're going to use influencer stuff. And now everyone seems to be coming out with some dodgy past or present. And I'm just thinking, how much is this going to cost you? Because now you have to kind of charge all that content that you made, or the deals that you probably made. So that's kind of immediately where my mind went to. So what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I think it's the nature of the beast. I think that's the problem where you are the product, right? If the product is crap, ain't no one wants to buy it. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
I like my Xbox. If my Xbox stops letting me play games, I'm not going to enjoy it. I like X-celebrity because I think they're a good person and genuine. Like the Hot Tour girl, who's basically grown massively in fame because everyone thinks she's innocent and everything. The day someone like releases news about her or something, or the day it comes out that she wore blackface at school, or the day it comes out that she said the N-word on camera, it's over. She's no longer innocent, cute, like country girl who says things kind of funny and she's got a bit of a freaky side. It's all over. And that's just the nature of the beast. Your product is now bad. You've now expired. No one wants the apple. It's dead. Like, it's over. And I think in many ways, as much as it sucks, as much as like weirdly sometimes you want to feel sorry for them, you kind of go, oh, peak, your life is crap now. As much as all that happens, it's just how the world works. No one wants to buy your stuff anymore. And you can either try and pivot, which some celebs do, which they go full incel, right wing. I don't give a crap anymore. I was cancelled, but now I've realized people's opinions don't matter. All they do is just pivot their product into another market that now wants it. That's all they do. It's still the same thing. If they then turned out to be giving, if any of them people are caught donating to Black Lives Matter at some point in their life, they're coming back here again to the other side. And they're just going to try and come and be like, oh, you know what, you're right. And you know what, I still think about equality. And it's just the products people are selling.
Yeah.
And the only way to avoid it is just be genuine. And it's really hard to be when all your money comes from playing a character and you have to tweak it to monetize it a bit more. And sometimes you'll lie to yourself to say that, well, this is who I am. I am this person, because you have to believe it to make money out of it.
You brought up a lot of emotions to me just now when you mentioned the Hulk Tour girl, because this is another thing that pisses me off about social media. She got made rich and famous for literally no reason, and this is what social media.
What's the reason though?
What was the reason, Sam? What was the reason?
There is a reason. She has a character trait she has a niche character trait that's missing.
We don't even know if that's true. We don't know if she.
No, but you can see it. I don't know if she's a freak. She could have. I mean, with the way she described it, Lewis, she probably is. And no, but
I'm just saying, right. This is. But she got made rich and famous for no reason. People are paying her $30,000.
No, there is a reason. It always.
No.
People paid her $30,000 because she validated that she validated that her product was wanted. She was wanted. People pay her good money because people enjoy her presence on camera. It's innocent. It's nice. In a world that is so messed up. In a world where everyone is either pushing Prime or everyone's pushing some kind of new game, or Soulja Boy is releasing some kind of new tech that he's claiming he's now an entrepreneur on. Like, in a world where nothing is believable and nothing's normal, it's good to see someone that you have genuinely at some point in your life at school recognized before. There's always been that quirky girl who she would say something and all the voice would be like, yo, I see you. You know what I mean? Like, there's always been that person, but we don't see those people on camera anymore. And if we do, it's some OnlyFans girl playing a character just to get some more clicks. This is the first time when we've seen someone who is innocently, with a bit of drink in her, play a character, and we want to see more of that because I think she represents what's innocent in the world. And I don't think it's a difficult thing to do. And everyone seems to think you should only be notable for something if it's difficult. Most of the best products we use right now are easy to make. We just didn't think of it first.
So, Sam, just to be clear, you think she represents the innocent of the world because she said drunk that you got to spit on dick?
If you see it that way, like that it's all she ever does in her life, it's more because there's a sense of, I think people like her because there's a sense of innocence about her. She did, because people love to see her on camera.
Sam, she has the number 3 podcast in the world, just based on
because people. Yeah, but I think he said Sarah. Jesus, Lewis. Here's the thing. Agree with it, disagree or not. She has done what we said about people getting cancelled, but the other way around. She reached a threshold where it doesn't matter. Enough people like her for it to keep growing. It's just how it is. She's gone past the core audience that thought she was cute. They blew her up on camera, and now everyone's like, oh, well, yeah, now you say it, I kind of see what you mean. Like, she's kind of funny and quirky. Like, people are validating it thinking, I think she's amazing. No, you're not. You're saying that because she is. Like, example, Elton John, I think, did like a remake of Rocket Man with someone. I hated that remake. Because the beat never dropped. It never did the whole it never did the ending part. It just kept repeating the first few lyrics again and again. Like, it really annoyed me and I hated it. Lewis, by the 10th time I heard it on the radio, I was singing it to myself. Like, if you hear it enough, we're just computers with biology, man. If you put enough of that data in, eventually we'll just accept it as fact. Like, it is. Everyone likes to think they're amazing and mindful and like we've got control. You have not. You've got a bit of willpower that will sustain you, but eventually it'll get to you. Like, we're talking about her now, Lewis. We're having the longest debate about whether she's good or not. The fact that this has been sustained long enough goes to show that there's something to be bought into her. My mum always says this.
I can't believe that
my mum always says this.
Like, more value than ours. It can't.
It's not that it provides value, it's that it provides an emotional relief. Entertainment is for emotional relief, and she provides that through her presence on the podcast.
Right, not.
Like, my mum always says that. She always gets pissed off when they're like, what did Kim Kardashian do to become famous? What is it? We don't like why they're famous. We don't think it's hard work. And we always want to think that success should be based on hard work, should be based on blood, sweat, and tears, because that's what we're going through. So it almost feels unfair that they're famous for recording a certain tape and putting it on a certain PH website, right? Or we think it's unfair that someone might write a song lyric about every breakup they've made and become a billionaire off it, and now they're like now they're a massive endorser.
You're gonna get killed.
I know. You're
gonna get killed.
We think it's unfair that someone puts diamonds in his teeth and one day changes titanium, says some horrendous stuff on camera to basically get himself out of brand deals and still gets a following out of it because it's a cult following. We think all of these are unfair. We think it's not right because we envision success and the path to success is one way, and we thought that that's the journey they took, and that's why we like them for who they are. It turns out they didn't meet the expectations, and now we're upset. We're not upset that they're crap. We're upset that we feel mugged off by them. That's what we're really upset about. So if you take away your emotions because they don't know who you are, and they don't care. If you take that away, you start to recognize what it is. They're a product you got duped into buying. Go buy something else and leave it alone. That's it. You don't have to kick off. You don't have to punish them for existing. Just go and enjoy something else.
I just
leave them alone.
I just can't be sweating at my 9 to 6 whilst Hawk Tour girls out here a millionaire for no reason. I just can't. It doesn't sit right with you, Sam. It doesn't.
It's not no reason. It's a reason that doesn't fit with your ideal for success.
That's the worst thing social media has done in the past few years. I will die on that hill.
Put it this way: if Hawk Tour girl went to your school, right, and
I'd be furious.
She did all of this, everyone thought, oh, she's cute, blah blah. She wouldn't. All the popular girls wouldn't be hanging around with her, right? No one would really care about her, right? Imagine it wasn't social media. Imagine she was in your school and it was a school party and someone saw her say that to someone else, right? Will she get picked on by some people? Yeah, probably. They'll be like, what are you being a slag for? Will some guys be like, she's like, some people be like, bless her, she's tiny and doing like jokey stuff, kind of cute. Yes. Will the popular girls give a damn about her? No. But as soon as some of the popular boys look at her and be like, oh, yo, you can do that, yeah? You got a game like that, yeah? Oh, okay, cool. How much you want to bet all the popular girls wouldn't be sat at her table trying to pretend they're besties for her just to get the guy's attention? Okay, now they're there. How much you want to bet that everyone else would be like, oh my God, do you want to come play with us? Oh, hooked up. No, that's the world we live in right now. But it's social media. So now we've just got a massive mix of these people just engaging with her. As soon as she gets the tiniest bit of cancellation, the smell, her podcast will go down in views. She will not be getting 30K to turn up to nothing.
Good.
Leave her be, man.
Now,
girls got game in all forms, and we appreciate it.
We don't even know if she hot to us, Sam. We don't even know. She's a fraud. I don't care. Anyway,
we're willing to believe.
Right. We've got to move on. I can't believe we gave her our time.
Yeah, go on. You gave her like 10 minutes of our life.
I know. It just triggered me. I'm sorry.
You need to let it go. Let it go. But I think bringing it full circle, it does touch on the most important thing around social media, whether you're looking to be an influencer, whether you're looking to promote your things through social media, it's authenticity. If you're able to get people to believe in your content, that's where it transfers. What most brands do is they do it through other people that already have a trusting relationship with you, because that's how middleman marketing agencies work. If they're the face of it, like Unidays is the face of a lot of its marketing, right? No. So it has to show that it really cares about students. They do Student Women of the Year. They do gaming competition. They do everything that aligns with what it's like as a student. So then you're going to Unidays because it aligns with your goals, your values, things you care about. And these brands are present on the platform because they know that you're already there because you care about it. So in association to them, you'll pull that trust through. In the research I did about financial markets and like Experian as a middleman, the same case is kind of present. Would you, if you like the Experian app, which some of the participants said they did, would they trust partners that are on the Experian app? The majority of participants said they would, right? So it's easy to transfer your trust onto something else if you believe if you care enough about the platform you're on. It's easy to do that, and that's where a lot of brands take these shortcuts and corners. Where it goes to crap is when you realize that for the right amount of money, this middleman will sign up with anyone. And then that has a detriment with all the other brands that work in it. Like YouTube has adpocalypse almost every quarter. Almost every like
That's
other
true,
year or
actually,
so, there's an adpocalypse on YouTube. Because as soon as YouTube has a certain amount of people getting cancelled, these brands are like, we can't risk our ads being shown on your platform. Like there was a time where I've been away from New Days for a while, so I could probably say this. There was a time where they had we had Disney Plus, and we also had Love Honey on the same platform.
Okay.
And there was basically a Disney Plus ad next to a Love Honey ad.
Oh, they'd like that.
Every other stance, exactly. They did not like that at all.
Yeah.
And they called in and were like, what's going on here? Because from our perspective, we're like, they're just two ads, right? From my perspective, well, not ours, because I don't represent Uni Days, but from my perspective, they're just ads. Like, students care about both. Students do have a sex life, right? Students do care about these things. From their perspective, it was, do not put Mulan next to the girl and the boy cuddling a dildo. What are you doing? So they were just like, they're like, do not do that to us. And then you're like, okay, now I see what you mean. Because their brand is innocence, pure animation.
Yeah.
Love Honey is good times. Not for long time sometimes. So it's that kind of, and that caused a bit of right. So there had to be caveats. Like innovation did come through that. There was caveats put in place to make sure like 18 plus ads didn't come next to below 18 certain ads and all these things. There were things put in place to make sure they didn't appear next to each other. And that was avoiding adpocalypse. YouTube now kind of does that with just kicking you off the platform. You get enough strikes to go away because we don't want our brand partners to be upset. We don't want users to think that this is a right-wing only platform. So get off. And the same goes for other brands now who are very much like the right-wing platforms. You go in there's certain ads that they probably won't even support you promoting as much as they say equal rights and everything, or they care about freedom of speech. There's certain ads they won't promote on their platform because it doesn't go with their agenda. So that's the time we're in now, and that's the risk you take when you make social media your brand.
Yeah. I want to ask you actually something. So with Anxious Extrovert, you're obviously providing well-being tools and everything. Where does social media come into the mix, if it does, with this stuff and sort of like mental health and all that sort of stuff?
So from us, the main thing, what we're trying to do is, it's a hard one to do. It's a hard one to do because we're not mental health experts ourselves. And that's, I'd say, one area that we need to cover. We need to get ourselves more training. So what we try to do is we look up research, we look up work that's been provided, blogs, content that's been provided by actual experts, and we use that to educate the content we create. We don't do copy and paste. We don't look at someone's blog post and just drag over to our side. We'll look at it, we'll read a few, and then we'll put them together into one piece of content, right? The same goes for our Instagram posts. We'll look at different pieces and we'll go, okay, we'll do like a carousel based on like the top 10 things not to say to someone. It'll come from our personal lives. It'll come from personal lives of people close to us who've been diagnosed with things. And this is what they don't want to hear. So we search for authenticity by actually checking in with people that are meant to be experts or people that go through the emotions rather than just assuming. That's how we keep things authentic. I would say, to be clear, we've had like a few blogs written by AI. Do we read it? How do we feed the data in? We don't just go, write me a blog about depression and then just copy and paste whatever it is. We'll go and look at different research piece papers. We'll bullet point everything. And we'll say, these are the key points we care about. Write me a blog on this. And then that'll go up as like a blog. Will some people be upset about that? Yeah, because I didn't sit there getting my retinas burnt out by staring at blogs and typing like 20 in a go. No, I didn't. I'll completely be honest about it because I'm managing your expectations. If you find out, I don't want you to come and lynch me. I'm being honest about it. But it's also it's also the case that there's still a lot of care, love, and effort that goes into the work we do.
Yeah. Even
when I talk about that, the thoughts of closing down the business, it's hard for me. It's hard for all of us because we care about it. It's not just a money-making thing. We came up with the idea because we're going through stuff in our lives, and it matters to us that we're able to help other people. So I think the aim for us is, as long as we're true to ourselves and we're true about that, the money will come eventually. And if it doesn't, we'd rather close it off than do what we've been advised by some people to do, which is start faking it, start putting like more sexual content on there. Like we had an advisor who was basically like, oh, you try and talk about like well-being and sex, but do it more about the sex. I'll get some pictures on there. And I was like, what the hell are you on about?
Yeah, clickbait.
We don't believe in that.
Sydney Sweeney on there or some shit, yeah.
Exactly. It's like, we're not going to clickbait. Like, we believe in the content, and the closest thing to clickbait is like the title being, we wouldn't say like this will cure your depression, but it'd be like top 5 things about stress or something. That's the closest thing to clickbait that we're doing.
Yeah.
And we're hoping that someone is stressed enough to care about that content to read it. Is it juicy and enticing? Not really for most people, but for the people that care about it, it is, and that's what matters. Our alternative approach, which I'm guessing you're probably thinking, well, if you're doing that, you know it's not performing as well. How are you going to make money? Doing a lot of medium performing things, similar to how you got micro influencers. Our goal is just to make a lot of these products, like make a breathing app. Not everyone wants a breathing app, but enough people want a breathing app. Make a notebook app. Not everyone wants one, but enough people will. And then together, as an ecosystem, they make a lot of money. Individually, medium performance. But from our perspective, we're able to keep all of them authentic, and that's what matters.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically it. How about you, though? Because you're about to engage in content, or you are a content creator. You're essentially our producer, really. You are our producer. You kind of put things going. You make content. You help. We did come up with titles, but you've come up with the majority of the episode titles and ideas. So in terms of when you're processing all of that, knowing that we're focused on business, knowing that we're focused on, people building a certain type of brand, and I guess today's episode is more focused on if you want to be an influencer, or if you want to use influencers to your advantage. Knowing all of that, do you feel a need to tailor it to still come across as authentic when you make the content or when you plan stuff?
It doesn't really pop into my head as much, to be honest, because I think when we first initially promoted the pod, just to give a bit of context, it's like, I think initially, because obviously we want to build the audience using social media, we did pay more attention to it. Like, we're very much like, I hope people follow the page and stuff like that. And then obviously now the initial hype of the pod went. It now doesn't really enter my mind, because I'm now used to posting on social media a lot now. Like, because obviously for the pod, personally, I don't post on social media that much. But now it doesn't. I really don't kind of give a shit. So me kind of using social media more and more as part of my weekly sort of work for the pod, it's made me not give a shit as much about what I post. In terms of the podcast episodes and stuff like that, again, it's using the tools that we have, with Riverside, using AI, descriptions, and I'll scan it, make sure it works, all that sort of stuff. I'm now aware that, a lot of the stuff that we have now, this is our 28th episode. We basically have over a day's worth of us saying shit on the internet. And so it's whatever we've done, it's already out there.
Do you get worried about us getting cancelled one day?
No, because I'm the editor. Plain and simple. I'm the editor, so I'm sure we're good.
Doing God's work. God's work.
Yeah.
No, but it's true.
I think we're good.
You're gone.
Sorry,
I did appreciate, because I don't really. I mean, there's moments where you kind of tailor me a bit more. You kind of go, maybe don't say that because you upset some people. Maybe you don't.
I have quite I have quite a good short-term memory. So everything on this pod, we fine. And it's the thing is after the initial recording of a pod, I genuinely will think, I probably have to cut out that bit. that doesn't actually happen a lot, to be honest.
I would say that I also listened to your solo episode, and I really appreciate the point you made about I'm just myself. Because I sometimes I'm playing a character. I feel like sometimes I'm telling you, but when you said it, I was driving home from my mom's birthday, Sarah, and I was listening, I was just and then I was thinking about it, and I was just to be fair, I do have a lot of people that hate me, so that does make sense. I see a lot of people that just kind of go, "You're so annoying," so it does make sense. And I do. One thing I wouldn't want to do is present myself as someone just because it feels like the safer option. I think that would be me massively letting myself down. I think that would be letting us down. I think that would be letting our audience down. I think the way I see it, I know that sometimes I say something like, Sam, think about it a bit more. And I'll think about it. Okay, I'll do better next time. Or I'll use less swear words next time, whatever it is. Right? I think about that. But a part of me is also thinking there's always opportunity for growth. And I think as humans, we seem to forget that we're not perfect. And it's so easy to cancel people. It's so easy to call people out for their mess. We seem to forget that our lives are just as messy, or if not, in most cases, more. Like sometimes I'll see a certain person tweet or put something on their story about what's going on in the world right now, and I'm like, the jokes you used to run, broski, the jokes you used to run.
Yeah.
You should not feel
sure.
comfortable about the story you have put up today, caring about the world all of a sudden, right?
Yeah.
There are so many people, or like there's people that will make comments where there's like, oh God, I'm just like, what are you talking about? This time last year, you were the guy who started the jokes. So
yeah,
why don't I hold that people to that standard? It's because I would like to think they care more about the topic now because they've grown as individuals. And if we're going to have the mindset that people can grow, people can change, then we need to accept that the same goes for the celebs and people that we idolize. Because at the end of the day, the fact that they're people is a consistent factor. They are just humans. Where it goes wrong for me is when someone has to do like 2 apology videos in a year. You're clearly not getting better as a person. You just keep getting caught. Like, you're clearly not getting better.
Yeah.
Like, you're not learning anything. If you're going to make the first apology video, you shouldn't have to make 3 more because the first one should have meant that you meant it, you learned your lesson. If you keep making them and your audience keeps coming back to you, you know what? I get why the sponsors come to you because you have 0 failure rate. You keep getting sponsorships because they know that at some point people are going to come back. It is what it is. But yeah, rant over. I just think people are people and we need to either embrace them or walk away from them.
Absolutely, man. And I think it's important as well, like particularly with all the shit's coming out with celebrities and stuff on social media, it's like, stop viewing them as idols because again, you don't know what they get up to.
Idolizing people, it's so
you don't know what they get up to. You don't know if they're at dinner parties. You don't know. Like you genuinely don't know what people are up to.
And I remember the whole Diddy thing. I remember even my parents being like, when I was much younger, my dad would be watching like videos and he'd just be like, this guy's a weirdo. And like my mom would watch an interview, be like, this guy's off. And I remember back then, people thought it was weird. But you know why no one cared? Because everyone was so weird, that behavior was acceptable. Times have changed, and we seem to think that we still have to hold. He should definitely be held to account because he was consistently weird, right?
Yeah.
Even today, he seems unforgivably the same guy. So clearly, he feels no shame about it. And if we think as a society that behavior is messed up like we do, then he needs to be held account for it and tried fairly for it, right? In general, though, there's a lot of things that in the past we've looked past because we thought it was funny. Kiki. He's just a creepy old man. Ha ha ha. And then he comes out and he's like, no, that was messed up. And now everyone, even the people that thought they were funny, and now acting visually to it. I think there's a moment where you have to look yourself in the mirror and think, if I'm angry about this behavior, I need to also check my friends who do the same thing. I need to also bring other people to account. Don't just vicariously punish this individual because they represent the negative. Because you also need to maintain that behavior in your house as well. When your kids do it, when your family do it, maintain that same energy when you check them as well. Because if you're doing it because you genuinely think the world is a messed up place and you complaining about it, make it better, you need to do that at home as well. My issue is when people get cancelled, whether it's for the right or wrong reasons, a lot of people don't jump on the bandwagon. A lot of people don't jump on the social media hype because they care or because it's about a good reason. A lot of people do it because they want to come across like they would care.
Yeah.
Like they would want to come across as a good person. And once again, your authenticity works both ways. If you're doing that and people like me and Lewis are your friend and we're seeing you do that and we know what you're like off social media, we are trusting you a lot less. We're looking at you and we're laughing. I promise you. And I think the same goes for anyone who's doing all this fake care and stuff, all this fake, I love the environments, and then you're out here bloody driving the world's biggest Range Rover on your day off. Like all these people that do these kind of things to kind of be the most amazing individuals, you need to realize that there are other people looking at you. And if you're looking to do social media as your brand, you have to genuinely lift that brand. It's not just doing it for 9 to 5 and as soon as the day's over, you go to eating meat. Like you don't do vegan until 5 p.m. And as soon as you get indoors, you're getting like the world's biggest hamburger, or you're getting a steak. It doesn't work like that.
We even have an example. Like do you remember that we had that person reach out to us and be like, oh, can you talk about car insurance on your pod and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think so. Remind me.
Some woman
a bit more details.
Had she like reached out to us, be like, oh, we'd love for you to join our network on the pod, and
we're not a car insurance company. Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about it now, but
we're not.
But not
We're
like.
talking about it now, but like,
Yeah,
I'm not
not
going to shout at the brand.
23% APR. Like, you know, we're not speaking it like this.
No,
but it's like, it make no fucking sense. Why are we talking about car insurance?
If we did an ad, I promise you, we would literally have a whole segment to be like, this is an ad.
Yeah.
Ad over.
I'll be like, guys.
Like, it would not be wormed into the story. Like, it should be there casually.
Sorry, by the way, if we're talking about car insurance, just know we got many bags to do it. I'm just saying. If anyone wants to be talking about car insurance and it's 20, just know I got 20 bags. I'm just saying.
I actually didn't want to talk about dodgy business. Okay, so there's an episode where I want to talk about dodgy business models.
Okay.
And car insurance is definitely one of them. I want to talk about those kind of things. So yeah, we will talk about business models that seem to get away with crimes.
Yeah.
Right. We will talk about that at some point. And like, I think we really should do an episode on like business models and social good. We need to talk about that. In general, yeah, if we're talking about, if we're talking about, I don't know, being a creative thinker, and then out of nowhere we're worming car insurance in, we messed up and we're sorry.
Just know I'm wiping my tears away with my LV wallet.
And if it does happen, it's either we got paid bags or my ADHD is just running free and Lewis is too tired to check me. Right.
It's either or.
And that's why it's happening. It's either or. Because sometimes we go on bad tangents. And Lewis, it's because halfway through my speech, I started thinking about cartoons or something. And then I'm just gone with the wind. So that's usually what happens. But anyway, rant over, as I've said about 3 times in this episode. That was for the 3rd. Lewis, how's your week been, man?
You know what, dude? I took the last 2 days off. And it's been great. I needed the break this week. Yeah. Last week I was like,
I realized that because you promised you do the Instagram stuff. You didn't do it.
Oh yeah, shit.
You didn't schedule nothing.
That's my bad.
There
I
was
didn't
so much content. And this whole like, Sam, you're losing your job. Sam, like you're burning out. Let me help you, Sam. I'm just there like, Lewis, my friend. Thank you.
Yeah.
Looked at my phone, no content.
I'll do the IG next week. For next week, I'll chuck in everything. But yeah, man,
I know this episode is going live next week, so if it comes out live and people you've not seen IG content, don't blame me. I know I agreed to do the social media, but you just heard him. He said he'll do it. I'm scheduling TikTok and YouTube like the good boy I am.
Wrote it down. I've been. I took a bit of a break, and it was good.
So our TikTok's been doing great.
I did check it the other day.
Wonderfully. It's been doing great. Like
they've been popping up.
We don't have as much. I don't care. I mean, follow us, please. But like the views and our like to view ratios and everything, I'm liking it. I'm liking that people are like seeing value in our content. I do listen to some that obviously I listen to all the TikToks and social media stuff I push out because I have to listen to it before it goes out. But in general, it's like, I'm liking it.
We just need, but
I did see one of the search queries that got us loads. A search query that got us loads of views in the last week was Thai boxing ligament podcast. Who is typing this, please? Who is doing this? Or how did he become a co-leader? There are phrases that I don't even think of, but somehow someone's put it in their search.
I've never said those string of words together, ever.
Someone is looking for race comparison. Watch yourself.
Okay.
And to be fair, I do appreciate the ultimate proposal. I can get why it's cuffing season, it's winter's coming. People want cuddle club. People trying to lock something down for the couple of seasons.
Dangerous thing.
So I get the ultimate proposal, and then there's one called "It's Okay If People Don't Like You." I'm sorry, you're going through whatever issue you're going. I'm sorry. Whoever put that, genuinely, I'm sorry.
Someone just
I hope it gets better.
Into the search bar.
Literally, it's like you're going through some darkness.
Yeah.
I hear you and I see you. It gets better, I promise. But yeah, there's definitely a trend of just random searches, but at least the keywords are there. But yeah, I am enjoying the what would you call it? Like the confirmation from in the posts, that confirmation that we're doing something good.
Yeah, I mean, I want to convert those plays into listens, and I think that's the thing that we are wanting to do.
And that's what we're struggling with. But I think, like you said, it will happen naturally on its own. It will happen when it happens.
It has to, bro.
We just need to keep enjoying.
We got a 2-year countdown. If in 2 years we're stuck under the 100 plays, I'm like, you know what? It's our time. And that's fine.
Well, 100 plays, what, per episode?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, after 2 years, if
After 2 years,
not doing 100 pays per episode after a year and a half,
given this 2 years. After 2 years, we're not making money from this. We have to stop. We actually have to stop. We actually have to.
Go on. Nah, we need to keep enjoying it, man. I'm enjoying this. I see.
We keep enjoying.
I see like the audience is. I'm enjoying it.
We have to see growth.
I do enjoy it.
We have to see growth in 2 years.
Growth will come when it comes, dude. Anything else happening in your week? Any ways you're gonna make the rest of us feel like our relationships aren't doing well or good enough compared to yours? Yours and Rosie's amazing love story. Your accountability buddy.
I'm accountability manager. She's doing good.
Yeah,
she's doing good. I have nothing else. I have nothing else to report. But yeah, man, it's all good. We're chilling.
Okay. I need to come down and see you guys. Actually, I don't think I've seen you since that first time I met her. I don't think I've seen her since.
No,
we need to come down and see you guys. I think we'll be down in your ends, probably November or something. We'll probably sort something out soon.
Okay, we'll sort that out. But yeah, man, that'll be good.
If I still have a job, that is. If I don't,
we did actually say. Rose did actually say we need to come up and see you guys in person.
Yeah, you do actually. Yeah, you come up to us. We've been down south already.
Yeah, no, you know what? That's fair. That's definitely a next year job.
Definitely.
For sure.
It's mad far away though.
Because but no, man, it's good. Like I said, we still want to get this somehow in person when we somehow have enough bread to make it happen.
We will.
That's like it's living in my head rent free.
Episode 100
all the time.
Episode 100 will be in person for sure.
No, 52 we'll do in person. We'll 52. Make that happen.
All right, so the full 1 year anniversary we'll do it.
That's the 1 year anniversary. Actually, do that for sure.
That sounds good to me. We need what else was I thinking? Right. My week has been. I said I'll talk about a little bit about what's been happening with work and all that stuff. But I'll talk a bit more probably about the redundancy tales.
Yeah, I saw you've done 3 now, right? I looked in the.
I've done 3. Yeah, I recorded 2 in a week at some point. I committed to doing. So one thing is my sleep is getting better. Because I'm forcing myself to go to sleep.
You actually
ultimately all arrows point to the fact that I was doing a lot more for a job that I probably shouldn't have been doing that much work for. Lessons learned. And I should really just be doing what I get paid to do, to be honest. They've done this to me. I'm now this is my villain arc. I'm now the fuckboy of work.
You're now me.
I'm not the F-boy
in general, but I'm just saying, do the bare minimum.
Someone broke my heart. Someone broke my heart, and you're not gonna. Now you're just gonna get spite from me. Now you're just gonna get treated like a side chick. No, honestly though, I think it's just I'm really valuing the rest. I'm struggling to stay in bed and stay asleep, but I'm forcing myself to stay. Well, I force myself to stay in bed. I'm struggling to stay asleep, so I'm still waking up after 5 hours of sleeping because my brain is like, okay, that's enough sleep, back to work now. So I'm hoping that I can heal from that. I'm taking as much time as I can to focus on either interview prepping or interviewing. I've talked about it in a few episodes already, and I guess I'm giving spoilers because the redundancy episodes won't come out until I've got a job and I feel more settled. So I don't want it to jeopardize what I'm working towards as much as I also want to record the whole journey and have it up as a series that is just up and forgotten about. I was thinking about putting up every Monday, but part of me just might lock it behind a Patreon. Nah, actually, because if it's for people being made redundant, they can't afford Patreon. I'll put it up. You can have it for free.
We'll do it on Monday.
Yeah, we'll do it on Mondays when it's ready. Don't worry, we'll let you know via socials when it's ready. I'll probably post something on LinkedIn and jeopardize whatever career I have at that time with the redundancy tales. So we'll have redundancy tales part 2. What else? In general, though, I'm feeling like I'm in a healthier mindset. I'm getting back to who I am. It definitely was having a toll on the relationship, kind of being away at work all the time. And me and Sarah definitely enjoy more time together, being able to use that. But like I was going to lean on to is I'm in a fortunate, and I know a lot of people are struggling right now, but I'm in a fortunate position where all that hard work has paid off. So it's kind of hard to hate on myself for burning myself out because I've built a lot of bridges rather than burnt them through the hard work I put in. And there's a lot of people that it's been emotional how many people have reminded me that they care about me and they care about my success. And the testament to that is how many people have been referring me for jobs, how many people have essentially secured me interviews and conversations with really high up people that didn't know existed until very recently. And I can't thank those people enough, man, because I'm now at a point where I've stopped applying for jobs for a bit. I'm going to pause applying for jobs for a bit because I was doing it because I wanted backups on backups. And now it's getting to a point where, Lewis, I'm turning up to interviews. I'm just like, which job is this for? Which one? Like, I'm getting like an email to be like, I'm getting an email where it's like, oh, we're going to give you an interview. And I'm like, okay, great. And I have to quickly look up which job I applied to.
Who are you again? What was your name?
So who is this company again? And then, I mean, as lovely as some of the, I'll talk about it more in redundant episode, actually. I'll just stop there. But yeah, I think today I'm going to talk about, the one I'm going to record tonight will be about recruiters and prepping your CV, because I think I need to do that. But yeah.
Good stuff, man.
It's been good. I'm still a bit nervous, obviously, because I haven't accepted an offer.
Yeah.
But
I can't.
I'd rather be in this position than no position at all.
Yeah, it's a good position to be in, and I think statistically, you're highly unlikely to go through this period again. I think redundancies only happen to people like once, max twice. I think I only know one.
It doesn't help that a lot of people I'm talking to who like recruiters helping me, and this is they've been through it 4 times. Like one person's like been through it 4 times. I'm like, what are you doing? What companies are you joining? Like, are there red flags I should be looking up for when I sign up for these companies? So there are some people that they live in redundancies and they're just comfortable with the stress. I think one thing I'm definitely happy about is I didn't box myself into a skill set, or I didn't box myself into a corner that meant that I'm only good at that one thing. So if the like workforce, or if like the corporate world didn't need it anymore, I'd feel lost. I'm not in that position. I'm also very happy that, like I said, I'm just very happy about my network. I've got to catch up with one of my supervisors soon, he called me as soon as he found out, and I didn't answer because I was just going through it at the time. So I was like, I don't want to talk about it. I'm just telling you that my PhD might be jeopardized because of this. Okay, I might need to take some time off to focus on me. This is happening. But bless him, he was just like, let's put an action plan together. What can we do? Where? Because he knows people. Like he's got friends and family who are owners of like big fashion brands. Like he's got people like LV and Gucci. He's just got their phone numbers just for like a quick catch up. So I'm very proud to have people like him in my network. But yeah, it's a blessing. It's a blessing, dude. But I'm more happy that it's a massive reminder to look after myself, that health is wealth.
For sure, man.
And I'm getting better. Just need to get my haircut regime on track so I can actually turn up to more pods with fresh trims.
Yeah, that's facts.
Especially, looking Hagridy right now.
Yeah, that's good, man. I think that's a good note to leave things on. So yeah, guys, if you enjoyed, give it 5 stars, give it a listen, share with your friends, follow us on TikTok, the Podcast Evolve, Instagram, the Podcast Evolve, like and subscribe, follow, do all them things there. And we will speak to you guys next week. Bye. 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 Bye.